It really did not take me too long at all to find a deck that I wanted to use for Plasma Storm. There's a couple ideas I was bouncing around, and then I ran into this one. This was actually like the first deck I ran into, and thank God it wasn't like Darkrai or some Plasma Box booty, because I don't have a lot of the Plasma EXs yet, so I'm kind of working with what I can. But I'm showing you guys that I'm trying an Entei Chandelure, I believe Reshiram kind of thing. And it's really interesting to see that I'm actually against, it's not Reshibor, it's Raybor, Quaza, whatever you want to call it. They're both fire accelerators. You know, Embor accelerating if you have the energy in your hand. Chandelure only accelerating one at a time, but it can be from the deck. Let me reiterate that. Chandelure's has to be from the deck. I've had a couple of situations where I've run myself dry because it ends up being in my hand or in my discard pile. And then Typhlosion's the most efficient from the last... from Heart Gold, Soul Silver, whatever, just because you stick it in a discard pile and it doesn't end up in a discard pile anymore. So he tries Roaring right there, which I found really odd. I don't know if it was him getting really greedy or whatever. I decided to Skyla for a rare candy just to prompt him, hey, you know, I'm going to get this Chandelure up. The fact that he went for a Pignet right there, I was like, I don't know if he's coaxing me into going for an N or if he's just being really ballsy about it. I really couldn't tell. But I figure we'll play chicken. You know, I'll get a rare candy, and then if he really does have an N, he'll play it right now. But it turns out he doesn't have one. He just attaches another fire energy, goes for another roar, and only gets one fire energy. The fact that he's roaring right now is really weird. But I get my Chandelure up, and the Flare Navigate lets me pick one fire energy from my deck, attach it to Entei, and then I have to put a damage counter on it, which is where Pokemon Center comes in. When you accelerate to the bench, you can heal off the stuff you accelerate. You can heal off 20 damage, which is basically 2 of those guys, so it's not too bad. He puts down an Entei and another Rayquaza. I am as tempted as I am to end up going for the N. I'm just going to keep Flare Navigating and try to get some damage off on the Embor while he still doesn't have a hand. So I decided to go for the Fire Fang right here, hit him for 30, and then see what he has to go for, or see what he has to go for from here. So turns out his last card was an N, that cheeky motherfucker. He was waiting for me to play mine. But it turns out that he had his all along, so that's kind of a thing. I don't know why this is being... I feel like this is Vegas, just lagging on the preview. And I don't know why I can't record it any clearer. Like, I play TCGO with really good settings and everything, and just Fraps doesn't record it as clear as it could be. Whatever, that's fine. So, I have an Emolga. I have Emolgas in this deck because it's nice to be able to pick what basic I want to get out. I decided I'm going to Flare Navigate onto the Emolga and just regular attach onto Entei. I run switches in this deck for Entei just because it can be kind of a big guy. And I decided to Pecom, I believe, my Reshiram, and then just call for family a Litwick just because, although it is kind of... Actually, no, I call Risk first, and then I call for family for the Litwick. Now, you could consider it kind of a waste, but I did plan on using a supporter this turn, so it was like either use it or lose it, that kind of thing. I figured it's not that bad having an Emolga in the active spot either, because if he wants to get a knockout, he's going to have to switch his Embor, and he's going to have to get an electric energy on the Rayquaza, which he does right now. That's cool. The one thing I was confused by is that he ends up Inferno Fandangoing all the way onto the Embor. You know, that's fine. That's a play that I've seen some people do when they absolutely get stuck. But my Emolga only has 60 HP. So if you're keeping track to what he attached to his Rayquaza, all he has to do is just drop an electric, and then he's good to go. So why doesn't he? I'm just kind of confused by that. I've done this play before, which is why I'm kind of looking at it now. It's like, count the HP. I don't know how much electric he runs and whether or not he's actually scared of not getting any more electric energies. But that was the thing I noticed. So I'm just going to Flare Navigate right now, go ahead and get another fire energy onto something. I figure it might as well be my Entei, and then I can just manually attach from the hand, and then go for an N to shuffle that fire energy back into my deck. So the Pokemon Center comes into play here because I can heal off the damage I Flare Navigated from. And now I was really tempted to catch her in that Embor, but it would leave 10 energy left, or not 10 energy, 10 HP left on it if I go for the Grand Flame, which does 90. And if I have an energy in my discard pile, I'm not sure if it has to be just any energy or a fire energy. I think it's a fire energy. But it moves it from the discard pile onto something as an after effect, which is pretty nice, you know, 2-hit KOing everything and getting 1 energy back at a time. It's not bad. It just really hasn't had a means of acceleration. I think these two work really nicely together because the Reshiram will discard the energy, the Entei will get it back, the various supporters will shuffle it back into your deck, and the Chandelure can just accelerate it. So, you know, you run energy retrievals, all that stuff. It's all good. So, it turns out he's going to pump 3 energies onto this, and that thing is cooked. So, there's not much I can do there. But what do I have next? I can put down another Lampent. I believe I can... I think I'm actually going to computer search that one. I'm going to computer search an N and a Fire Energy? Alright, so I don't know why I did that. I guess I thought maybe I was going to. But I get a second Chandelure up. I can also just straight up go for an N and then just kind of go from there. Turns out I draw into one too many Fire Energies. Not in the literal sense. I'm just looking to see what I have in the discard pile, what I have out, etc., etc. I do run a Super Rod, so I can put 3 straight back from discard pile into deck, and then I just decide to Grand Flame this thing to put 1 on Reshiram. I don't really need to put 1 on it right now, so that's fine. Looking at his hand, the best scenario for him would be if he could put 3 Fire Energies onto Rayquaza and then just keep it going. But he chose for his A-Spec to be Rock Guard. Now, I know a lot of people aren't too, like, insistent on that just because it is your A-Spec and it's just for, like, a beefed-up Rocky Helmet when you could easily be using Computer Search like I've chosen, or you could use Scramble Switch, that kind of thing. I find for this deck, any deck with Stage 2's Computer Search is usually the way to go. You can search that line you need, or you can get the rare candy for it. It's not a bad trade-off. So, he ended up Junipering and getting just enough that he needed for that, which was really unfortunate. But although I am behind on the prize count, I've actually got kind of an advantage right here. Just because immediately after this, I can set up an Entei, and I can just go... I can catch her in the Emboar, which is the most important thing. It has lost him all of his acceleration. If I did not have that catcher, I probably would have lost. But the fact of the matter is, he's lost his pig. I still have 2 Chandeliers, and I'm good to go. I mean, that only gets me 1 prize, but he's gonna have a lot slower time accelerating here is ultimately what I'm trying to get at. And the fact that he played down a Sky Arrow over my Pokemon Center means my Reshiram gets out of there for only 1 Fire Energy, so I can just go into Entei, manually attach, and then just catch her up the benched one, and then just kind of continue from there. So, I mean, it's not even that big a deal. The pig's gone. It's going to take him at least another turn to get on his feet, minimum, if he has any pigs left. So, just kind of waiting to see what he's going to do here, as a matter of fact. I don't know. Okay. Silent. Alright. Getting some energies, even though you just can't really... I think... Oh, you know what? I was kind of spazzing out on a different tab. That's why I was like, why am I clicking... I'm clicking weird things. Okay. I suddenly ran out of stuff to talk about. There was a little break in there where I answered a phone call and then, like, completely lost track of what I was doing. Oh, yeah, the fact he has Rock Guard is just like, what the shit. Thankfully, I top deck a supporter, which is not too shabby. I'm going to catcher up the benched Reshiram that he just laid down. I'm glad he put down some catcher bait. I decided not to put down the Emolga on the off chance he has a catcher. Although it would have been extra for the 1 card on the chorus, I just don't want to risk it getting captured up and then just losing the game that way. So, the extra card, not so much. But right here, I'm just going to Grand Flame that thing, basically use it as setup fodder for my other Reshiram. I can also heal it off on the bench with the Pokemon Center while it's there. I don't think the Pokemon Center is actually going to stay for too long just because freaking everyone and their goddamn counter stadiums, everyone's running like 3 to counter the people like me that only run 2. So I think I'm going to start running 3 stadiums in all of my decks from now on. Just because that seems to be a popular pattern that people like to follow. I don't want to attack that Rock Guard Rayquaza. That is ridiculous. The fact that I'm even facing it and it's actually a problem because I don't run Tool Scrapper in this deck is just like, what? And now that I don't run Tool Scrapper, someone's gonna play me with Garbodor, so now I probably have to run Tool Scrapper in this deck. Shit. Okay. What do I have going on? He puts an Eviolite on that active Reshiram, meaning that it'll take 2 Grand Flames to take it up. That's fine. That's 2 energies I get to put onto Reshiram from the discard pile. And, yeah, it's not even that big a deal. So that's why I was hunted. See, the freaking catcher right there. If there was an Emolga involved in that, probably would have died by now. So, thankfully I have a switch. I believe I'm just going to... Do I Chorus? No, I don't. I decided I don't need to Chorus on the off chance that I hit a fire energy, and it turns out to be the only fire energy in my deck. I don't know how much energy is a good amount of energy to run in this deck, to be honest. I'm running with 11 right now. I found at times it tends to be a little low, but for the most part it's alright. So maybe I'll run like 12 or 13, like same number as Blastoise, Keldeo, something along those lines. Just 11 is... I'm very on the fence about it. So for now, what am I doing? I think I'm just going for Colress and then just seeing what I come into from here. Nothing too special, so I just decided to Grand Flame for the knockout, put another energy on that Reshiram, and we're good to go. So it turns out that I believe he misses out on an energy. Oh, that's the freaking Rock Guard one. That's the one I was worried about. And then there are my other two Reshiram, so it's like, whoa, well, shit. All right, okay. What am I doing here? I need to work around that thing. So if I could catch her up the benched Rayquaza and knock it out. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. I guess I just decided to stall for time. Or maybe I was just completely not paying attention to what was going on. That could have been a possibility too. Late game Pig enters the field. So I don't know if this is something I should actually take the bait on, but he's actually out of cards in his deck is what ends up happening here. So he Junipers himself all the way down. And I thought this was actually going to be a longer game. I guess the recording itself was a little bit long. But nope, that's basically the end of the game because he overdrew himself and burned himself out too quickly. That kind of caught me a little bit off guard. But I just end the game and then that's it. So that was a short one, but I hope you guys liked it. If you did, you're more than welcome to leave a like rating, comment, and subscribe, and do your thing. If any of you have been playing on TCGO lately, leave me some suggestions for decks I could possibly consider. This one is just one that I figured, I wanted to use Shandy. Now I get to use Shandy. It's not a bad idea. So, I don't really have a lot of the, more of the EXs from the newer set. The ones I'm probably going to try to shoot for are Latias's. And then I'm also going for secret rares and stuff from other sets as well, because that way Fluffy Chomp just looks so good. And then I also need Ultra Balls and Garbodors and some other stuff. There's just a lot of stuff in this set that it's going to take me a while to collect. Shit. Okay, that should do it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.